10 News begins with breaking news.
A small plane made a hard landing right in the middle of a busy I-5 freeway. Southbound lanes, they were backed up for miles as crews tried to move the plane off the road. This all happened on the 5 South, just south of Tamarack Avenue.
Drivers stopped to try to help the pilot and the passenger. 10 News reporter Anthony Pura is live on the 5 freeway. And Anthony, somehow no one was hurt in all of this.
Yeah, it's really just amazing that no one was hurt in this. You can see the plane behind me here, and they are working to remove it from the freeway right now. Firefighters on scene commending the pilot tonight on how they maneuvered this plane to put it down where it is right now. It's never a good sight to see a plane in the middle of the freeway, but firefighters say there were so many things that could have happened tonight, and this could have been so much worse. A close call on Interstate 5. This video from a driver passing by just moments after firefighters say a Cessna did a nosedive into the center divider.
911. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Okay. No injury.
Okay.
You sure? Yeah. You guys all right? Hello?
Yes.
The pilot coming out of the plane unscathed after putting down the plane without hitting any cars in one of San Diego County's busiest freeways. Another video from another driver passing by, this one taken as the first emergency crews began to arrive.
He said he lost power and he came down.
Firefighters say a man and a woman were in the plane. They dealt with smoke in their cockpit moments before the plane went down. There is damage to the front of the plane, but both pilot and passenger are okay.
There's a lot to be thankful, so they'll be enjoying their holidays with their family. So the skill of that pilot, he did a stellar job.
According to the FAA website, the plane is registered to Viola LLC, a company out of Covina. It flew out of El Monte and was headed to Carlsbad. It came down about 5 miles from Palomar Airport. Southbound traffic was shut down, causing a massive backup. After a half hour, officials were able to reopen 2 lanes. And it will likely stay 2 lanes here on the southbound for several hours. You can see that plane here. We understand that the FAA and NTSB will be taking a look at it. We're told they will have to drain the fuel, then remove the wings of the plane before they can tow it out. As of now, we have not been given a timeline yet on how long that will take. We're reporting live tonight. Anthony Pura, 10 News.
Incredible. Everyone walked away from that plane crash. Thank you, Anthony.
What a scene. All right, Anthony, thank you. Last year, a small plane made an emergency landing on the 8 freeway in El Cajon. The flight instructor, who was a former baseball star at San Diego State, managed to dodge wires and signs and then landed smoothly. He then avoided cars and navigated to the other side of the freeway. A student pilot was also on board at the time. They were trying to land at Gillespie Field at the time. Neither was hurt.
A Mid-City woman is hanging on to life, and her dog didn't make it. Police say the woman was hit by a car crossing 34th and Adams Avenue about 7 o'clock tonight. The male driver who hit the woman and her dog stayed at the scene. Police are still investigating the cause, but they say DUI is not involved.
A sinkhole has closed a busy National City road for more than a day, frustrating neighbors and creating a traffic nightmare. Our 10 News reporter Cassie Carlisle was there while crews from San Diego and National City worked to figure out who's responsible to fix it.
It is quiet out here right now, but there's going to be construction starting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and neighbors are just excited to hear something is finally getting done.
Yeah, it's crazy. I never thought this was going to happen.
National City neighbors have been living behind a barricade for more than 24 hours. They say problems started Wednesday afternoon.
And when I was going to pick them up, I hit like a big old bump down the street.
Alvaro Hurtado was picking up his son from school when he hit the sinkhole, making quite a racket.
They've been like slamming into the floor. I can hear it when I'm inside, and it's really terrible, you know.
Neighbors say crews closed the 1700 block of Rachel Avenue around 7 p.m. Wednesday. Sky 10 was overhead Thursday morning, watching no progress being made.
I thought they usually fix things right away, but I mean, it's taken them a long time.
A long time figuring out who is responsible for the repairs. National City engineers said the city of San Diego will repair a storm water pipe damaged by recent rains. That project on a growing list for workers across the county.
And I opened the carpet, it's a big, huge hole.
Around the corner, Dante de Malanta is dealing with a sinkhole he says also developed after the last round of storms.
Yeah, I got right here a big hole in my backyard. I think it's a sinkhole.
giving us a look at the danger his family and their dog are facing. While he tries to find help, his neighbors hope their sinkhole gets fixed soon.
Engineers tell me it's going to take a couple days before they can reopen the road. Reporting out here in National City, Cassie Carlisle, 10 News.
Students and staff from Vista High School took a stand tonight. They're demanding the Vista School Board bring back school resource officers.
Don't let go of SROs! Don't let go of SROs!
During last month's meeting, the school board voted 3-2 not to restore law enforcement at the schools. Mental health services were also cut. Students say SROs are important during mental health emergencies.
Our SROs are trained officers who are able to deal with those issues as well as social and emotional problems. And in the event that there is a school shooting, God forbid that happens, they are the trained professionals to help on campus.
School administrators were forced to trim the district's budget by nearly $10 million this quarter.
On Capitol Hill, lawmakers in the House Judiciary Committee, they debated the articles of impeachment against President Trump. Republicans say the push to impeach is a sham and an effort to undo the last election. Democrats in the meantime, they are arguing that the president abused his office to gain an advantage in the 2020 election.
Is any one of my colleagues willing to say that it is ever okay for a president of the United States of America to invite foreign interference in our elections? Not a single one of you has said that so far.
The 14-hour marathon debate on Capitol Hill, it ended abruptly, delaying final votes until tomorrow morning.
And Brits cast their ballots today in the UK general election. It's being billed as a way out of the Brexit stalemate in the deeply divided country. And the first exit polls indicate Boris Johnson and his Conservative Party appear set to win a large majority in the parliament, likely clearing a way for Brexit by January. ABC's Julia McFarlane is outside Parliament in London with the very latest.
It's the first election to be held in the depths of winter in almost 100 years. But these are extraordinary times in the UK. It's another chance for Britons to decide how they feel about the European Union. The contentious feelings about Brexit are redrawing the political map.
I've always voted Labour, but the town's going down and down and down, and it can't go any further. So a change is good as the rest.
I don't want Brexit. I don't trust Boris Johnson one bit, but I don't even trust Labour.
Boris Johnson is hoping voters will give him a majority, promising he will finally make Brexit happen. Opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn wants the public to have a second referendum on the EU. Up in Scotland, which voted to stay with the European Union, the Scottish leader wants Corbyn to make a pact with her party, a vote for Scotland to leave the United Kingdom. These historic constitutional issues on the ballot means this election is not being fought on traditional party lines. With the gap in polls narrowing, anything could happen tonight. The exit polls dropping the moment that voting ended, predicting a landslide majority for the incumbent Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Now, exit polls have been wrong before, but in recent years they have proved to be more accurate. The final result will be announced in the morning. Julia McFarlane, ABC News, London.
6 more bodies have been recovered after the deadly volcano eruption in New Zealand. That volcano exploded Monday on White Island. There were dozens of tourists visiting at the time. Today was the first time recovery crews felt it was safe enough to return to the island. The death toll has risen to 15. A crew spotted 2 more bodies, but they could not reach them. 28 people, they're in the hospital. Scientists say there is still a 50% chance of another eruption. And new tonight, the owners of 2 North County nail salons, they were busted for human trafficking. Cindy and Jason Liu, they are a brother and sister who own Eden and Majestic, which are in the same shopping center on Pomerado Road in Rancho Bernardo. Federal prosecutors say that they lured their cousin to move here from Vietnam, but once here, they forced her to work long hours at the salons, threatening to ruin her life if she didn't. The Lius are due in court next month.
Now to a developing story. Pro-gun and gun safety advocates are preparing for the return of the Crossroads of the West gun show at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. The board suspended the gun show in 2018 after a series of protests by gun control groups. But the gun show owners went to court, and a judge issued an injunction allowing the events to continue. The gun control groups are asking for more safety precautions during this weekend show. And pro-gun groups are planning a rally when the event opens on Saturday.